Back here again for another video. Before I get started, I just want to say I'm sorry that I'm not going to be getting my first time watch video up this week. At the beginning of the week, I asked you guys to choose between four movies, and whatever movie got the most votes, I would watch for my next first time watch video. Unfortunately, I just haven't had time. I've been really busy at work, and we had inventory yesterday where I worked from 8 to 2, and when I got home, I just wasn't in the mood to watch a movie, and I didn't watch a movie today, so I'm sorry. I do still plan on doing my first time watch video. It's probably going to be on the movie Death Valley because that movie got the most votes, but as of right now, I'm just going to hold off on that and post it up, maybe next week sometime. But I did want to get a video up for you guys, and for this video, I want to do a video response to a YouTuber called Mountaintop9. I discovered his video, or I discovered his channel a few months back when I was looking through YouTube trying to find some cool horror VHS collectors. Because as you guys know, I've been getting back into collecting horror VHS, and I just wanted to, check out any horror VHS collectors on YouTube, and I found one of his oldest videos where he shows off some really cool horror VHS big boxes and clamshells. And ever since then, I've been, watching some of his videos. He's a big horror fan. He's also a big metal fan. He does movie reviews as well as album reviews for metal bands as well. So if you don't know who he is, I'll leave a link down below to his channel. Go ahead and check him out. Earlier today, I wanted to look at just watch his horror VHS collection videos again, and I checked out his channel, and he recently posted a new video yesterday called Traumatized by a Horror Film. And in the video, he talks about the movie that really traumatized him, the one horror film that got to him. And that film is Mountaintop Motel Massacre, which is a movie I've never seen, but I've heard a lot of things about it. It's one of his favorite films. He actually collects releases for that film. He did a video years ago on his channel showing off all of his collection of all the VHSs and DVDs and everything that he owns related to the film. He's got some cool memorabilia as well, and he's a big fan of the movie. And he talks about he saw the movie for the first time. His grandmother actually recorded it off of TV, and he would watch it a lot as a kid, and something happened where he just didn't want to watch it anymore. Like, there was something about the movie that started to bother him, and he just no longer wanted to watch it as a kid. And then he went on and watched other films. Of course, it doesn't bother him now, but he's recently working on a film analysis of the movie, which I'm looking forward to seeing. He talked about how that the movie really affected him, and I just wanted to do a video response and talk a bit about the one movie that really affected me as a kid, the one movie that really got to me as a kid, and it's a movie I've talked about so much. If you guys have been following me on my YouTube channel for a while, then you guys know the first horror film that I ever saw. I was 6 years old when I saw this movie, and that movie is Child's Play. This is my old childhood copy, which as you guys can see is in really bad shape because, it's my childhood copy. I was about 5 or 6 when I first got it, but I wanted to talk a bit about that and talk about the effect that this movie had on me. Now, the first time I saw this movie, my mom probably got it for me because usually when I was a kid, if I asked for something, my mom was the one that usually got it, and she mostly got me movies. And I remember really enjoying watching it because I knew it was a movie that I shouldn't be watching. I'm sure, just like everybody, you enjoy doing things that you're not supposed to do. Like, you enjoy watching something you're not supposed to watch. You kind of get a joy out of it, or you think it's fun. It's like, oh, I'm doing something I shouldn't be doing. And watching Child's Play was like that for me. It was, it was rated R. It was gore in it. There was death scenes, and it was a scary movie. It was the first scary movie I ever saw, and it also had a lot of foul language in it. And I knew it was a movie that I shouldn't be watching, but I did anyway because I enjoyed watching something I wasn't supposed to. And I remember the first few times I watched it, it didn't really affect me. It didn't scare me. There were a few moments that made me jump or whatever, or a few moments that creeped me out. Like the one scene I always remember is when Catherine Hicks, Andy's mom, first realizes that Chucky doesn't have any batteries in him, and his head spins around. That scene always got to me. Well, after a while of watching it, when I was in school, and this was, like I said, I was 5 or 6 years old, so I was in elementary school at the time. When I was in school, I would walk around and I'd look behind me as if I was worried that somebody was going to come up behind me. I don't know what it was, but I would do that, and my teacher started to notice, and they ended up telling my mom and my dad, and my mom ended up taking Child's Play away. She took the movie away, and she put it underneath a little cabinet in her. It's our living room now, but back then it was a room that she kind of used. It was her own personal room. We all three had our own personal rooms. She had a room, my dad had a room, and then I had a room. And she hid it underneath in a cabinet underneath her TV for quite a while. Eventually, I talked her into letting me watch it again. But that was something that I always remembered, was that the movie didn't really scare me, but it still creeped me out. You know, there were still scenes in that movie that did creep me out when I was a kid, and it started to affect my personal life. You know, because like I said, my teachers, saw me looking behind me like I was paranoid that something was going to come up behind me. And that, I wouldn't say traumatized is not the word for it. It didn't traumatize me. Like, I wasn't having nightmares about it or anything. Although I have had dreams about Chucky. They weren't really nightmares. They were kind of like weird stuff. Like I had one dream where Chucky was like coming back and he was coming after Andy, and Andy was little like he was in the first Child's Play movie. He was 6, Alex Vincent, which I thought was kind of weird because I want to say at that point, when I had that dream, I had seen Child's Play 2 and 3. So I'd seen Andy grown up, or Andy as a teenager in Child's Play 3. So it was kind of weird that I was having a dream that Chucky was coming back after Andy, but he was like a little kid. I don't know. I guess because when you see like child actors when you're a kid, you always see them as that child actor kind of. Like Macaulay Culkin, I've seen a lot of his films, but I still see him as Kevin from Home Alone. You know what I mean? So I guess I kind of still see, even though I've seen all the Child's Play films, I've seen Alex Vincent as an adult, I still look at him as that 6-year-old kid from Child's Play wearing the suspenders and everything. So traumatized, like I said, I think it's a strong word, but it did affect me in a negative way. And, I think that for little kids, there are just some movies that little kids just shouldn't watch. And I think at that point, I probably should not have watched Child's Play when I was that young. Of course, I still am really grateful for it because it was the first horror film I ever saw, and it got me into watching horror films. So even though, it did affect me negatively, it also affected me in a positive way because it introduced me to horror films. And now I love horror movies for it. And somebody just honked their horn really loud. Damn. Our neighbors are so loud. I don't know if you guys could probably notice in some of my videos, you can probably hear like kids running around screaming and stuff. They're just really noisy people. Anyway, it introduced me to a whole new world of horror movies. So I thank Child's Play for that. I thank that movie for introducing me to it, but I still feel like I was too young when I first saw that. So Child's Play was really the only movie that really got to me. The only other movie that really got to me was The Exorcist. And that movie got to me so much that I actually refused to watch it for years. I remember the first time I tried to actually sit down and watch the whole thing, and I got to the point where Linda Blair was doing the crab walk down the stairs, and she puked the blood over her face. And once that happened, I had to turn it off. The Exorcist really got to me. It was the only horror movie that actually really like scared me. At that point, I'd seen like The Shining, and I'd seen all the other like the top scariest movies of all time. I've seen all those at that point, but for some reason, The Exorcist was one. The Shining did creep me out, and it still does. That movie still creeps me out, but not as much as The Exorcist did. So, The Exorcist didn't really traumatize me. I didn't have any nightmares about it or anything, but Child's Play, it did. And the point that Mountaintop 9, or Eric, that's his real name, I've actually been friends with Eric for a while, and I just never watched his YouTube channel until recently. So that was the point that he was trying to make in his video, is that there are just some movies that kids should not watch. I know a lot of people will say, well, it's just a horror movie, and if you explain to them that it's not real, then that's fine. No, I mean, if a kid watches a horror movie, you know, yeah, you can explain to them that it's not real, and they might be fine, but they might not be. They might have nightmares. It might really freak them out and disturb them. There are just some movies that, little kids should not be watching at a certain age. And Child's Play was, like I said, a movie I probably shouldn't have watched when I was that young. But it's also a movie that introduced me to horror films, so I really thank it for that. But yeah, I just wanted to get on and just do this video just talking about a movie that, traumatized isn't the actual word, but, since the title of his video is Traumatized by a Horror Film, I thought I would refer to it as that, even though Child's Play never really traumatized me. There really weren't any horror films that really, I don't remember ever having nightmares about horror films. I have had nightmares about horror villains like Freddy, and this is kind of a funny story. I remember I was kind of having dreams about Freddy and them. They weren't really scary. They weren't really nightmares, but they were just there in my dreams. And I remember, when I was younger, I used to sleep in my mom and my dad's room because I was scared of the dark as a little kid, like a lot of kids are. And it was I'd sleep in between them. And I remember before I went to bed one night, I actually brought a fake machete. Those fake plastic machetes that you can get at Walmart for Halloween costumes. I actually got one of those because I was going to bring it into my dream, and I was going to fight Freddy with it, or fight Chucky with it, or whatever. I guess you would call them nightmares. I don't remember ever being scared by the dreams, though, because I knew that Freddy was fake. I knew that Chucky's fake, so it wasn't anything that really scared me. Usually when I have nightmares about something, it's usually about something real, like snakes. Snakes is an occurring thing that I have dreams about, but so traumatized is not the right word, but it impacted me negatively for a while there. Of course, I'm fine with it now. When you get older, of course, you're not really too scared by horror movies. There are still horror movies that still creep me out, like The Shining or The Exorcist. I actually did watch, the first time I watched The Exorcist for the first time, I thought some of the scenes were kind of funny. I don't know why, it just didn't affect me. Of course, when you get older, some movies don't affect you, and some movies do. Child's Play still does in some ways. I still find it to be a creepy film. I think the music is really creepy, especially the scene when Catherine Hicks is trying to find Chucky when he first escapes from her out of the apartments they live in, and this is right before she runs into the bum that she bought Chucky from. When he's walking around, you can kind of hear this kind of tribal music playing when she's walking around. Asking all the homeless people if they've seen this one homeless guy, and I always thought that the tribal music that they play is kind of a reference to the fact that Charles Lee Ray used voodoo to transfer his soul into Chucky, which I thought was I thought that was a nice little thing, and I always thought that the music to Child's Play was creepy. I always thought the first Child's Play was always a creepy film. I wish that at least Child's Play 2 still kept some of that creepiness. I do love Child's Play 2 though. I just think it's more of a fun movie as opposed to an actual scary movie. But of course, I enjoy all the Child's Play films. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to get on here and just talk a bit about movies that kind of scared me, or movies that I guess traumatized me when I was younger, even though traumatized, like I said, is a strong word. But yeah, Child's Play, definitely The Exorcist. And there was a few other movies that I think creeped me out when I was younger, but no movies ever really scared me, except for maybe The Exorcist. But other than that, no movies ever really scared me. But I just wanted to do this video as sort of a response to Mountaintop 9's video. And if you guys want to check his video out or his channel, like I said, I'll leave a link down below, and I highly recommend you check his video out, because it's a really good video, and he talks a lot about, how horror films can affect kids negatively but also positively, because even though that movie at one point did creep him out when he was younger, he still loves the movie. He still collects. He collects a lot of releases of the films. Like I said, he did a video showing off all the different releases. I don't know if he still collects releases of the movie, but he did a video a while back showing off, or years ago actually. He did a video showing off all the different editions that he owns of the film. Like I said, I just recently discovered his channel, so I haven't seen all of his videos. I want to say I discovered his VHS big box and clamshell video, I want to say sometime last year, like before Halloween, so I haven't seen all of his videos. But he does do great film analysis and reviews, and he also reviews metal bands and metal albums as well. Like Slayer's one of the bands he's talked about. So he does both, horror films and metal. So yeah, I recommend checking his channel out. Like I said, I'll leave a link down below to his channel if you guys want to check him out. And yeah, if you guys want to do a video response, I think that'd be really cool too. I'm sure he would appreciate it. So yeah, and anyway, Eric, great video, man. I think that you did a really good job explaining your thoughts on how films can, affect kids, and I think that you explained it a lot better than I did in this video. I'm just going by my own experience. So yeah, great video, man. So like I said, guys, if you guys want to check out Mountaintop 9's channel, I'll leave a link down below. And of course, I will also leave links down below to my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Facebook group if you guys want to follow me. Anyway, guys, this has been my response to Mountaintop 9's video, Traumatized by a Horror Film. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know what are some movies that creeped you out or scared you or traumatized you as a kid. I would love to hear. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.